And we're live. So hello everyone who's watching this live or archived. Let's see. And hello Mr. W and Swidar Gaming. I hope you're well. Yes, so let's just get right over to Trainz. Let's go over here. 1 second, just need to fix this cable over to the side. Right. So, last time we put down some more buildings, placed some cars, and we actually put in these back gardens or backyards, which I think look really good. If you just imagine someone walking down here, maybe with a wheelbarrow, going to their garden, something like that. Yes, so we'll start off by continuing that. So I'll just get started by placing some buildings up here, which will mean that we'll get to this bit, which is going to be interesting to work with. Yes, hello Mr. W. Okay. Oops. This happens to me almost every time that I'm accidentally on the session layer when I start building on the route, because I load the session. And the reason why I do that, I think I mentioned this before once, is that some signals, the information that's stored within them, is saved in the session layer. So if I put it down on the route and set them up the right way, then that information will get lost. Whereas this way, I can just duplicate the default session and then keep all the signal data without having to put it in every time. Okay. Let's see. I can already see on the webcam that it's already quite dark. You can still kind of make out my face, but it's already quite dark and we're just beginning the stream. Yeah, you can definitely feel that we're moving towards winter. Well, we're always moving towards winter, but we're past the... oh, that's a word for it. I can't think of it now, but the longest day, or long past it. Okay, so how should this work? Should we actually put buildings up here, or should we just leave it? I think I'll do a little bit more work on the terrain first, and then I'll decide whether I'll put in buildings or not. So let's see. Something like this, maybe. Well, this is getting really very steep here, so I'm not sure if I should have buildings here or not. What do you think, Mr. W? Personally, I like it with no buildings, but maybe put a park. Maybe. Although this little town, I'm not sure that they'd really have that much in terms of parks, because, well, their whole surroundings is essentially one large park, but maybe I'll put one in. Although if I did want to put one in, I think I'd rather put it down here besides the playground, so that the player can see the houses up here better, so it won't be obstructed by other buildings. I'll put in some of the textures first, and then I'll have another think. Because it does look good without the bit. I meant more a play park with equipment. So you mean like a sports park, something like that? I'm not sure if that's the right word for it. Because the thing is, with those kind of objects, I'm not even sure if I've got any of them installed, but if there are those kind of objects, it might be the same thing as with a playground, which means that it's all on one plane, so you have to lower it to that height, so this entire thing, which means it's not great for slopes. Like a kids park with slides, swings, etc. Oh, so you mean another playground? I think that one playground's probably enough for this size of park. Playground! That was the word I was looking for. Yes, glad I could help out with that. Yeah, I think that this one playground's enough for this little town. Because you have to... I think about it more in terms of... Well, when I want to make it realistic, I think about it in terms of whether it would be financially reasonable. Because, of course, it would be nice for the town to have multiple playgrounds so that you don't have to walk all the way down the hill to go there if you live up here. But the reality is that the local council probably, or the American equivalent, I'm not sure if they have a specific name for that, but the local government would probably not pay for another playground for this little town if there's already one down there. Although I might be mistaken. Okay, let's see. Also, you might want to turn your light on now. Right, thanks for reminding me. There we go. That's better, right? I need to make this screen brighter as well so I can actually see when something happens in chat. Okay. So I think we can have some back gardens here, maybe going down to this level, although this is already quite steep. I'm not sure how that will look, but we'll see. And yes, once we finish this town area here, then I'm so excited to actually get started on placing some more baseboards, even though I know that there's probably still a lot of work to do with this little industrial area here and things like that. But we might get back to that a bit later, depending on how long this takes. Do you just build routes, or do you play other people's as well? I mostly build routes, but when when I find another route that looks really good, then yes, I do play it. Hold on one second. There's someone very loud going by on 2 wheels. Yes, so for example, I only recently found the Central Europe route, which is made by a team of 5 people, including Slovak Eagle, Swedar Gaming, and I forget the names of the other members. I think it was Swedar Gaming as well. You can look it up in the... Actually, I'll look at it now, because I've actually downloaded it, so because I want to give the proper credit, because it's definitely worth it. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. So it's made by Loring... Oh, how do you pronounce that? Lorin Lucky? Or Jorin Lucky? Something like that. Richard Bosnak, which is Slovak Eagle, use 6099, and the branded K, and Ziut. So those are the people listed here. I'm not sure what their Discord names or Twitch names are. Okay, yeah, so I did really enjoy playing that. Wasn't it the same group that offered you into the Discord server? Yes, that's the same group. Yeah. But the thing is that with other people's routes that I've tried, most of them use procedural tracks, which are usually fine, but on my machine it just lags the game so much whenever there are more than just a couple of junctions, at least with clear visibility, which means that they're a bit difficult to play. Okay. I think that's probably good enough to have the houses sort of stop here, because it does get quite narrow here. Is that server all going good? Yes, the Discord server is going well. I haven't had a chance to do a lot there yet, but I did have a look around before, and they seem like nice people. Okay, so let's see. Okay, what's the next step? Right, so I'll do the back gardens up here first, because that's a tricky bit, I think. So I'll do the fences first. Okay. So now let's see. How do I want to do this? I think I'll make this come up to just around here, because usually you'd have a gate here probably, or something like that. But it's so far away that the player's not going to notice it from all the way down here. I mean, they're probably barely even going to notice the fence itself. So yeah, I'm not going to put the time into putting that in. Are there only community build routes in Trainz, or are there pre-built developer routes that you don't have to download? Well, there are a few routes that come with Trainz. I think Kickstarter County is the only one that was built by the developers of Trainz, I think. The other routes are built by the community and then included in Trainz. This poor little guy, he's got the nice corner house with a little tower thing going on. Yeah, but then he's got the smallest garden back here, or maybe the strangest garden, because I guess that I could make his garden go down all the way here as well, but just be this very narrow strip of grass. You wouldn't really want to play ball here, because imagine if there's like a family living here and they're playing ball, they want to teach their children to catch the playing ball. Then they're around here and say, okay, go throw it, and then they throw it and it flies all the way over here, down here, and then goes all the way down here into this guy's garden. And maybe that's how they meet in the first place. Anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent just yet, because at the beginning I want to keep the focus high so that we actually have something to show for at the end of the stream. Because if we've already got something done this stream, then sure, we can go off on tangents, do all sorts of things. But if we do that on the beginning, then the stream might be over before we've put anything down at all. Or the guy that lives there is very old and grumpy and says, if it comes over here again, I'll put a knife through it. Or that, yes. That also sounds realistic. Okay. Let's see. Why were you asking about driving on routes? Would you like to see some gameplay on sessions on some other routes? Because this is a route building stream series, but I can make an exception. You can put part of it towards driving around on some route if you like. It won't take long to get onto the horror movie tangent, I'm sure. Yes, you're probably right. Okay. Wait, did I place the fence up here on the... No, I just didn't put this one all the way up here. I only asked because I don't know anything about trains and I was just curious. Okay, then that's fine too. I just put this a bit too far forward. Actually, I can show you one of the routes that's built in if you want. Well, I'm actually going to do it anyways because I don't want to wait for the response. Yes, but one of them that's built in is the Sabino Lake, Italy, in the 1980s. And if I go ahead and edit this route, I can give you some quick snapshots of that route, because it is a really good looking route. Probably why they put it in Trainz as built in. Yeah, it is getting dark much more quickly than when I started streaming a month and a bit ago. Yeah, and it does take a little bit to load because this route is quite large. Ah, here it goes. Right. So, if I just zoom out, I can show you how large this route actually is. So, yeah, it lags quite a bit even on the map view. So this is the size of the route they made. They probably used some program to get the height data in for the mountains, but I don't see how they would have done it with the fields. Or maybe, well, maybe they did, I don't know. But if you go, for example, here, you zoom in, wait for the objects to load, you can see here how amazing this route looks. Well, when the object actually load, because they're still popping in. There we go. Still need to pop in some more. Still popping in. Yeah, it does take a while to pop in for them. Yeah, so this is set in Italy, and yes, it is a really beautiful route. There's some really nice things where the rails go along the shoreline of this lake, for example. So this is one of the routes that's built in. I can only imagine how much time this route must have taken to make. But yeah, just for example, this little bit here, you can see the crossing, and this tree will update in a second because things are still loading in because the route's that huge. Yeah, and the little platform here and everything, the little parked cars, and the entire route has that high degree of detail. Yeah, it's just really good looking. Yeah, so this is a route that's built in. Another really good looking one is actually Central Europe, which is the one I mentioned before. So I'll give you, I'll give you a few, a little snapshot of the route, as it were, of that as well. I won't go over the entire route because this one is massive as well, and it's still growing, and yeah. Yes. So I won't go over the entire route, but I'll just give you a few views of it. This is a nice loading screen, isn't it? Although with the snow in the bottom left corner, so down here, you can see on the edges here that they've probably just taken a picture of snow and then just erased the rest of it and just left this little corner over here, because you can kind of see the way it looks. It's as though it's been erased and they've put in shadows afterwards, because usually it looks quite good. But over here, for example, in this little area right there, you can see that there's kind of a stone here where the snow texture goes over the top. Yeah, and the same thing over here as well. In this little area, you can kind of see there's a bit of a stone that was here before. So they've actually done it like that. You can kind of also see the shapes of the eraser, like for example over here, the little grooves it makes. And yes, you do. I do tend to analyze this picture quite a lot because, well, I see it for quite a long while whenever anything's loading. And there we go. Yes. So this is Central Europe. I'm sure it had tracks the last time I checked. There they are. Yes. 1 second. So this is how large this route is at the moment. Well, this version of the route anyways. And I'll just go down here someplace. Because if you didn't know, they are actually modeling in total 7 different countries, not to scale obviously, but they are doing that. And you can see what I mean by lagging with the procedural track. Yeah. And things are still loading in, so it'll probably lag even more if I stick around here. So I'm actually going to go over here a little bit. But yeah, they are going into really high levels of realism with this route and accurateness to the place and time that this is happening in. So yes. And you can see how much this starts lagging in this area as well. Yeah, but that's probably just my machine, because this is a late 2015 Mac. It's yeah. I'll get back to my route in a second. Just let things load in. Yeah, just letting things load in. And there's that lag again. Yeah. But when I'm in driver, it doesn't lag as much because I'm usually not that far away, so I don't have to render that much. And yes, I also really like this station here. They're using the curved invisible station and putting in the platforms over the top on this junction. Yes. So yes, this is also a very good route. So now I'll get back to my route. Wonder where Slovak and his group are. Yeah, well, Swedar Gaming is here, according to the users in chat view. I'll just quickly reload to see if that's changed. No, it hasn't. Yes, but Slovak did say that because his live stream ended just before mine began. I actually watched that. Yeah. And he did say that he might not watch today because he is feeling quite tired after the stream and his throat is a bit sore. Wait, did it? What did I do? Did I accidentally load Central Europe again? Huh. Does Slovak stream Trainz as well? Yes, he does. He does stream Trainz as well. If you go to his Twitch page, I think he's streaming every evening other than Wednesdays, I think. Although I'm not 100% sure on that. He also mostly streams route building. Oh no, it just took that long to exit. Right. Now back to the Milton Valley Railroad. Geez, he must be exhausted. Yeah, well, according to him anyways, that's exactly what's happened. Okay. Here we go. No payware. Oops. See, I'm on the session layer again. This is what I mean. Okay. Yeah, the going the going in towns is a bit slow. Because whenever you're making towns, it can feel like you're just not making any progress because there's so many details that you have to think about and do and put in. So you are making progress, but it can feel like you're not. But when we get to actually continuing the route itself, so either going this way or maybe going this way, things will feel like they're picking up. Okay, so yes, that looks okay. So now I'll just quickly place some few trees up there. So something like this. Is that too much? I think that's probably too much. Something like that. I will maybe put one there, a smaller one maybe. So if I'm... is there a smaller one? I think there might be. Yeah, that one. So something like this. Maybe put it a bit further up so that it's actually over the white house. So you can kind of see the contrast a bit better. Okay, and I'm actually going to search for, oops, garden, to see if there are any garden features that I could place in here that would be visible from where the tracks are. So let's see. These are cars. Well, there's a greenhouse again. No, those are just actual gardens. Maybe a garden building, like a little garden shed. So maybe just putting this sort of over here. Let's see, I need to put it down a bit because it is slightly floating. Right. It looks a bit strange because it looks like it's just beginning where the edge of the hedge is. So I'm actually going to make this a bit steeper back here, but put it down a little. So now you can see that it's actually behind the hedge. And yeah, you can kind of see that up there. Because you probably won't notice it, but it does make it feel like there's a lot more detail back here. Even if you don't consciously notice it. So now over to this area, and I'm actually going to probably put just some lawn grass over here. So next I'll put in the houses over here. So I'm actually going to use, well, I was going to use some of those, but they are right next to it, so I'll probably use some of these instead. So the same ones I used over here. So like this, starting there. And get rid of the search filter. Okay. How does that look from over here? I think it adds a lot. From when you look at it from over here, those two houses. Yes, I think they add a lot. No, I'm going to leave them there because you're not only going to see it from that angle, you're going to see it from multiple angles. Yeah, Well, this is certainly a change of pace from last time. It's nice to have it a bit more relaxed. Okay, so just sort of put this in here. And I know that these are supposed to go quite a bit further back, these specific houses, but I'm putting them up close deliberately, so I've got a bit more space back here to have a smoother slope for the backyards. Okay. Yes, I agree. It feels a lot more casual. Yes, it does. Okay, so something like that probably. Need to smooth that out a bit. A bit further down like that maybe. Okay, so let's see. 1 second. There we go. So Swedar Gaming, I haven't heard anything from you in chat yet. Are you AFK or just not type anything yet? Just curious. Okay, let's see. Oh, this actually fits quite well here with the 2 connections. Although the slope might be a bit of an issue. Yeah, the slope's going to be a bit of an issue here. So I'm probably going to put in some cliff up here where the thing is, because otherwise it wouldn't make that much sense. So something like this. Okay, so now maybe just 1 or 2 more houses in here, and then I'll do the backyards for those. Okay. Right, so that does that. Now I'll put down the fences and then the hedges. Also, Mr. W, you've never heard of Trainz before these streams, right? No, I hadn't. Okay, yeah. So what do you think of it so far? Do you like it? Okay, let's see. Just kind of putting it over here. And yeah, I was about to say that if they've already cut it out like this, they might just as well have built the houses here and they'd have a better view. But then I realized that these are already quite high up. It's an interesting game, yeah. I've not played any simulation games like it, but I can see the appeal. That's interesting. So do you think that you'd be interested in playing a game like this? Okay, so how do those fences look? Let's see. Alright, we need to do these again. Maybe a more simulation-based game like Train Simulator. Ah, I see. Yes, Train Simulator is also quite good for the simulation side. Yeah. Although with Train Simulator you do have to be careful because Train Simulator does have that sinkhole of DLC, and if you pay for any DLC, if it's not on sale, then you're probably not playing the game right. Hi Slovak Eagle, hi, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Eagle. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad you could make it. Yes, so I've put in some more houses up here. I'm just finishing up putting in the what's it called, the hedges or the shrubs over here. Why isn't that getting the spline? I was apparently just not clicking on the spline. Hey dude, oh, that looks really nice, thanks. By the way, I really enjoyed your stream. You have a way of just making silly things really, really funny. Yeah. For example, the Clapham Junction, what do you call it? The bootleg Clapham Junction? Yeah, that was hilarious. Yes, I really enjoyed that. Also, thanks for showing me around the routes. I have actually downloaded the tram one, and I haven't driven on it yet because I obviously haven't had time, but I'll do that when I have the time. So let's see. Right. Also, I wanted to say something, but I've forgotten now. Maybe I'll remember it a bit later. Right. Oh, right now I remember. Guess I did remember it a bit later. So I think that after we finish these backyards over here, and maybe some over here as well, we might actually start to put down some more baseboards over here and build the route out a bit more, because I don't know about you, but at the moment I am getting a little bit tired of this town, because it does get a bit repetitive doing that. So it might be nice to get a bit of change of pace. Alright, tram route has properly scripted trams, hard to start up. I recommend starting with T3 tram, as it is without scripts. Oh, right, I meant the different tram route, the one that has tram in the name. The other one, sorry, tramway, the tramway one. I downloaded that one. I think, I'm not sure what the name of the other tram one is. I was going to go back and watch the vlog. Right, that one. I was going to go back and watch the vlog, but since you're here, if you know the name of the other tram one, the one with the one you mentioned before, the one with the script trams, if you'd like to post that in chat, I'd appreciate that. Okay, so let's see now. Does that look good? I think so. I think it does look good. It looks a bit interesting with a cliff back here because you can't really see the road behind it, so it just looks like a cliff that's separating things. Right, great, thanks. I'll actually take a screenshot of that, just so that I don't lose it. Okay. Great, so that little area up here, I need to put some more trees down here. Also, for Mr. W, one thing which might not be completely obvious by watching me, but one thing, since you're new to Trainz, one thing that's quite tricky to get the hang of is to put in the right level of details in different areas, because up close you need to put in a lot of detail, but then as you get further away you need to gradually ease up on the amount of detail you have, and that takes quite a while to get right. So if you see me looking at scenes like this, kind of orbiting around, going back over down to the tracks, looking at it like this, that's what I'm doing. Basically, I'm trying to judge how much detail I need to put in there. If you need anything else, I'm here for you. That's good to know, Slovak. Thanks. Alright, I think one more tree in here. Although this is quite a special property, so I think they deserve a special tree. Not as special as the Slovakian eagle, oak, of course, but still a special tree. So let's see, maybe a beech. Let's see. Huh, I thought there were beech trees. Oh, right. There we go. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. If it's further away, it's pointless putting in detail that nobody will notice. Yes, that is a big factor, the time effort, but also the performance, because the biggest thing that at least I have to go up against in Trainz is performance. Right, so like that. I have to say, the lesser spotted Slovakian eagle has a nice ring to it. Yes, it does, actually. Actually, speaking of lesser spotted Slovakian eagle, have you ever done a face reveal yet? Alright, so we've done this little area up here, and I'm actually going to put in the tall grass in this little bit, just because I think that might do a lot in terms of the feel of the route, or the area. Only for my close friends and memes. Ah, I see. So you are indeed the lesser spotted Slovakian eagle. Okay, so just bring this down over here, and I will actually put the spline in as well. Oh right, we haven't put the grass in here yet, so we might need to do that before we put down some more baseboards. Yeah, I am ugly. Well, I can't really say either way. I'm being honest. I mean, I've never seen you, but I'm sure it's not that bad. Okay, let's see. Right, so I'm just kind of putting this in a bit over here, because even though this is quite far away, it is noticeable from down here, maybe. Oh, come on, let me find an angle that it's right here. It's kind of noticeable. Right, so something like that. Imagine a nature documentary. He stalks the deep Twitch wood, hunting his favorite prey. Follow Twitch users. He lures them in with the promise of a Discord server invite. Hashtag KKI raid, or however that's supposed to be pronounced. Hello. Yes, welcome. Welcome. Okay, so we've put that in. So now let's see. I suppose we can put this little area in here and then the park, and then get onto something else, because that would just kind of tie up this little area. Hello. Yes. Hi, Swidar. Welcome. Yes. Swidar Gaming. I did see you in the users in chat a little while ago, from the start of the stream, I think. I was wondering, were you AFK for that, or because I did talk to you a little. I'm not sure if you didn't hear that or something like that. You call me, you can call me just Sweetar. Sweetar, okay, Sweetar. Right. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to put this in. No, I didn't read it, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Oh, never mind. That's okay. Let's see. But I was AFK. Yes, that would explain it. Alright, kind of like that. And I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible because I do want to move on to placing some more baseboards. Right, so... But I don't want to go over it too quickly because then it might look rubbish. Okay, so like that. And I can actually borrow the... Well, I say borrow. I can actually reuse the splines from down here, the barrier ones. If you had something to say to me, you can DM me or whisper me. Okay, I'll do that if that comes up. I think I'll put it in like this. The thing is, I'm not sure if having an entranceway on a junction like that is legal, but I think it's okay. And I'll have another one here. Just kind of have this going up like that, and then I'll put a fence going over here. Although I will need to paint the cliff texture first. Okay. Just sort of back here, around there a bit. Maybe a bit more, because I don't really like how you can see the grass behind it. It's like this. I'll just quickly save. And then I'll grab the other fence, so this one. So this going up here. Also, by the way, Slovak, I was looking on your Twitch page. Actually, no, I'll put this down further. I was looking on your Twitch page, and did I read that right? That you live stream Trainz every evening other than Wednesdays? Or did I misunderstand that? Because if so, then that is quite the feat. Alright, so just putting this over here. I don't really like how it goes across the rock, so I'll put in some more gravel, some more asphalt. Okay, so just over here. Okay, so like that. And right, so all we need now is some more parking lots. So something like, well, something like this maybe? Yeah, these are really, really wide for really big cars. Yes, for monster trucks only. I used to stream mostly Trainz each evening during the lockdown in spring. Then I slowed down a little. I didn't change the schedule as that shows just what time to expect to stream. Ah, I see. Okay. I think I'll flatten this a bit more. Like that. So, what is your current schedule, Slovak, if you have one? Okay, so that looks good. So I'm just going to place some cars, and I'm actually going to use the group, or one of the groups. Like this. Actually, I'm going to move them like this, and then I'm going to place a police car down over here. And the story could be that nobody wanted to park that close to a police vehicle, just because they're all just a little bit afraid of the police thing. So let's see. I stream at random days now, on random days on how I feel about it. Not the best way to approach it, but yeah, that's the way I work. I'm trying to get into a stream each day again. I see. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I was just... right, I wonder where I know this from. I mean, I know that it's from England, but for some reason I don't feel like it's out of place or that I should go in to investigate. I mean, it just fits so well. I mean, I'm surprised that I even noticed it standing in the middle of this parking lot. Right, let's see, which one? I'm looking for a specific police car. I think a certain doctor lost something. Yeah. Now the only question is, who that could have been. I was thinking if I was thinking if there was a clever way to word that. I mean, the obvious way would have been, now the only question is Doctor Who, but that's kind of the cheesy way. That's not really unexpected. So I wanted to come up with a joke, something like who he was, something about that, but not to be too on the nose. But I think that I failed at that because it was just a little underwhelming. I like the little detail of the wonky sign letters, and yeah, that's a cool thing to add. But we don't know who, so I guess who it is. Ah, I see. Yes, I didn't put the wonky letters down myself. It's part of this object. But yes, I agree, they are nice. Okay, so now we've put that in up there. Right, so I'll actually put in the little park here now. And then I'll get over... Well, actually, no, I'll put in the backyards first. And then I'll get on to putting in the park. Let's see. Also, it might be worthwhile to just set a time limit of sorts for this thing, because otherwise I'll spend the whole episode doing it probably. Sharadice, didn't you tell me about a logical, linguistical conundrum about lying once? I think I did. Do you mean the one where there's a man who always lies, but the only lie he tells is that he's a liar? Yes. Right, so it's, yeah, if somebody says, I'm always lying, then that would logically mean that he is, or they are lying in that moment, which means, actually I need to put in the path. No, it doesn't mean that, but I do need to put in the path. Which means that the statement of him always lying must be a lie, and thus he can never lie. But if he never lies, then that means it must have been true, so it must have been a lie. Mind equals kaboom. Yeah, it's basically just the double negative, which then turns into triple negative and a quadruple negative and so on. You know, it's the same sort of thing. Here's actually another one. Let's see, where is that path? Hold on one second. I'm just trying to find. Actually, let's search for path. Okay, imagine a light bulb that starts a horrible mind-bending cycle. Yes, it does. So imagine a light bulb that can turn on and off at an infinite rate. So it can turn on and off, yeah, as fast as it, infinitely quickly, basically. And then you have a switch to turn the light either on or off. Now, across the duration of 1 minute, you are going to turn the light on and off. After the 1 minute has passed, you're going to stop. So, you switch the light on. Then you wait 30 seconds and switch the light off. Then you wait half of that time, so you wait 15 seconds, switch the light on, and then you wait half that time again, and then switch it again, and so on. So each time you wait half of the previous time, which means that in that 1 minute, the light will have gone on and off an infinite amount of times, even though it's contained in a finite space in time. So my question is, will the light be on or off? And saying that the light will be off because the bulb will have broken from getting switched on and off that often is, well, it's a clever solution, but it is a bit cheating. So, yeah. Sorry to burst your bubble, but AC or DC currents in light bulbs actually work that way. But it's on and off so quickly that the human eye can see it. Yes, I know. But it's not infinite. It doesn't speed up. The thing is, I know because if you film, cameras can actually pick that up. So especially with blue light, it's quite obvious sometimes that if because well, the human eye blurs the images you see together, so it doesn't look like it's going on and off. Well, if it's infinite, then neither. Yes, but the thing is that it will have to be one of the two, because after 1 minute you will have stopped turning it on and off, and the 1 minute passes either way, no matter how many times it gets switched on or off. That's the thing. Yes. So because cameras capture each frame, they actually do capture the light going on and off if the frame rate and the frequency of the light turning on and off don't quite match. So yes, you can often see that way, which is actually quite the problem if you're recording stage events. Yeah. All right. Let's see now. Just kind of putting in this over here. Let's see. It's about the only thing I remember from physics in school. Well, it's a useful thing to know if you're doing photography, I guess. Let's see. I'm just kind of putting in these things here. Yeah, this is a very, very useful path, this one. So you go from your door straight over to your neighbor's fence, and conveniently the fence is like a ladder, so you can easily climb over. Right, so just sort of putting in this in over here, and then coming down here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to split this down the middle. I just finished electrician high school. Yeah, I'm that young. 19. Oh, you're 19. Well, I thought, well, from your voice, I would have guessed you're maybe 20 or so. No, they vault over the fence. Right, that's right. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, so you sound older than 19, Slovak. Okay. Oh, I need to put this house down just a little bit more. Did not mean to place that. I don't know why it selected that one. Oh, right, because I've got path still selected. So when I switched over to the tab, it selected the asset. I'm not sure if this is going to work that well, because it is very steep. Although from here you can't really tell exactly how steep it is, so I think I'll keep it. Right. You finished via work at home, I presume, Slovak? Says Mr. W. Make that a cliff, to be honest. Yeah, I was thinking about making it a cliff, but that would then mean that I'd have to put the fence down here, and I'm not sure if that is enough space to see it from here, because from here it would look just like it's right behind the houses. Although I mean I'll paint it quickly as a cliff, and then I'll see if I think it works. Oh, I've just accidentally grabbed the same texture twice in a row. Right, so let's see. Like that kind of. Well, you have to imagine not without the fences. I mean, I mean, yeah, it does look good because it does break up the pattern a bit. So I think I will actually use the cliff. I was going to see if the ball goes over the fence. You have no chance getting it back. To say, not see. Alright, I was going to see... No, I'm confused. I was going to say, if the ball goes over the fence, you have no chance of getting it back. Yeah, you're right. And over the cliff too. Yes, you're right. Yeah, since April we have been locked down because of that, or rather, tat, which actually, if you didn't know, is tat is actually a British word for sort of momentous or stuff. Because of that, we didn't have a final exam, but a appropriation of our whole 4 years of school. Cliff! Yes, it is a cliff. You're right, Mr. W. Don't know if you meant to use all caps on that, but that's what it sounds like. Right, I'll just put in one more point over here. And the thing is, with starting new areas, when you get worn out on an area like this, so for example adding more baseboards and things like that, is that then you do have to stop and go back to an area that you've already started, and then that can be worse than just going all the way through it. Yep, Twitch delay. I was trying to correct myself. Oh, right, I see. That final appropriation has basically counted as a finals, so we successfully finished the school. Well done, congratulations. I hope that you shall use what you have learned wisely, and that you've actually gotten what you wanted out of it. I also got my paper to be official electrician too, so I'm happy. Oh well, that's great. Alright. This little area doesn't really fit well as an extension of this yard, so I think I'm just going to close this up over here and just have this wilderness. Right, so putting that down over here. Right. Okay. Right, I need to do this over here still. Oh wow, an hour has already gone by. I know I say this almost every stream, but it doesn't feel like an hour has gone by. Do you have the same experience when you live stream Slovak, that the time just seems to slip away? Clapping hands. This is meant to be a clap. Alright, yeah. Twitch is kind of limited with emojis and emoticons. Yes. Also, since you specifically say emojis and emoticons, is there a difference between the two? Because I thought that emoji is just a shortening of emoticons. But is there actually a difference? Yeah, time flies a lot. I remember doing Euro Truck streams and I accidentally streamed for 4 or 5 hours instead of 2. Wow. Yeah. I unfortunately don't have that option at the moment. Because like I said before, I'm quite limited in the time that I can actually stream at the moment. But yeah. Wow. I mean, didn't you get hungry or have to go to the bathroom or something like that in those 5 hours? Because, yeah. Because usually when you go that much over time, doesn't your body tell you that it's time to do something else? I did go to the bathroom once, but I never looked at the time. Ah, I see. I see. Yeah. It's labeled as FB catch. As far as I know, emojis are the yellow faces. Emoticons are things like hand gestures objects and full body figures. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I thought that emoji was just shortened of emoticons, but you might be right. I'm not really sure. Yeah, actually Slovak. That's the reason why a lot of MMOs, I know, and I know this because of doing research for my own games. Not that I'm developing any MMOs, but that's the reason why MMOs usually have an in-game clock that displays the real-world time, so that players don't go that much overtime when they don't mean to. Emojis are the faces, yeah, but emoticons and emotes are all the things. Oh, I see, so it's like a subcategory. Well, if you're not using a face camera, you could eat and stuff while still streaming. Right, thanks, Eric. Right, I'm just eating on stream, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so, just putting in some nice trees here. I think this must be... Yeah, that's not gonna work. That is not gonna work. Yeah, but my microphone will pick up the munching noise. Exactly! Yeah, exactly. Right. Not if you're careful. Yes. You'd have to be a pretty sneaky eater. I mute for sneezes, coughs, and drinking if I can make it in time. Yes, the thing is, for me, OBS keyboard buttons to mute, the keyboard things, don't work. They only work if OBS is active. I'm not sure if that's because of the version of OBS that's installed at the moment, or if it's because of Mac, or because another application is using those keyboard shortcuts at the moment. But for me, whenever I put in a keyboard command, for example to mute the microphone, it only works when the application is active. Drinking kofola. Yes, lol. Kofola? I'm not sure what that is either. Probably a caffeinated drink of sorts? That's what I'd guess, anyway. Drink only in Czech and Slovakia. I want one really badly. Yeah, I don't have one, and besides, I would have to ship it to you, and then it'd take probably a day or maybe over that. No idea. I myself use Streamlabs OBS for the things, and I can reach it quickly. Ah, I see. Yeah. When I set up my streaming, Streamlabs OBS wasn't available for Mac, only for Windows. And I think that they do have a beta out for Mac now. But I think I'll stick with OBS because it's set up and working at the moment, and I don't really want to mess with that. Coca-Cola Fola. Oh, I see. Now, does a park actually fit here? I'm not sure. People compare Coca-Cola to Cola or Pepsi, but it is not even close. Let me explain it shortly. Okay, well, go ahead. Not that I'd stop you if I didn't want to, but go ahead. Cola and Pepsi are sugar-based beverages, but Coca-Cola is a coffee extract-based drink. I see. Okay, let me sit down for story time. I hope you don't meet me at the moment, because I don't have a story ready. Could you imagine that? Trying to do tabletop role-playing while streaming Trainz? Now that would be a challenge. Now I'm just thinking about how you would actually go about doing that, the logistics of that. Because if you didn't know, if you're not that into tabletop role-playing, I don't know much about that. Taking the role of the GM is one of the most challenging things I've done for a long time. And because you not only have to be aware of your players and what they are currently doing and up to and what they're saying, but you also have to think about how the story is supposed to progress and the different options, like the different branching paths. So okay, if they do that, then this thing can happen, or if they do that, then this thing can happen, while also talking to the players, and keeping the rules in mind, and doing those things. So yeah, I think that would be very, very difficult trying to do that while streaming. It was 1962. Kofola was introduced to the Czechoslovak market. It was always marketed as a drink of love and happy time. Since then, the bottle and logo changed a lot, but the way the drink is made didn't change at all. You could probably tell a D&D story whilst playing D&D, and a Trainz one whilst playing Trainz, but mixing the two, yes. It would probably be like mixing the streams, to quote a movie. Yeah, this doesn't really look like a park, it just looks like a bit of wilderness in the middle. I think I would need to use different trees. Actually, I'm not going to put this in now, because I do actually want to get to placing some more billboards, and we've already gone for almost another quarter of an hour. Not billboards, baseboards. And I think that could easily eat up that time. So, yes, not naming any names, but we have a few people who like to derail the campaign, don't we, Sharadice? Yes, we do. But to be honest with you, I'm not complaining, because if a campaign gets derailed, it just makes it, well, for me, it makes it much more interesting for myself as the GM, because usually, actually, I'm trying to think about what to do next. I think I'll put in the grass plants now, because usually, if things go according to plan, then the GM already knows what's about to happen, the things that are going to happen, but if things go off the rails, then it's an adventure for them too. Maybe put a tree there and make it a commemorative one. Maybe. I think that I will probably go into a bit more detail, like maybe put down some benches as well, like some paths and that sort of thing. But that can easily take quite a lot of time. Okay. Just hearing voices outside. I hope they belong to people. Right. So I'm just kind of putting down some plans down here to kind of mirror what we've done before. The base ingredient for Kofola is an excessive coffee... what? Excessive coffee created during roasting of the beans. It can get so funny, and the quirky, random and unpredictable situations we can get into. Yes. What does it taste like, Slovak? Okay, so how does that look? Right, that looks okay. It tastes like cola, but it is definitely not a cola. It's a weird to explain it. Like a coffee cola? Yeah. Alright. Well, that's okay. I didn't actually mean to place it like that, but that's fine. Alright. That looks good. So now I'll place the ones over here. And I will actually place the spline. Usually I only place the spline on the darker areas for this route. Because I really don't want to use too much spline, because that is something that I'm quite prone to doing, which is placing grass splines everywhere, and then it kind of lags the game a bit. The original is a weird mix of coffee and cola taste, but there are many flavors nowadays too. Maybe add a small river there, might make it feel less void and empty. You mean down here in this area for the river. So going along this line down here. Maybe people say Cofola tastes better than cola, but yeah, it doesn't give you that sugar punch. Okay. Yeah, it is nice to have a bit more of a relaxed stream compared to last time. More casual, like Mr. W said previously. Okay, this is quite a large area of darker texture over there. Yes. Yeah, you're right, it would make it look a bit more interesting. But the thing is that if we had a river going down here, the river would have to flow somewhere, which means we'd have to put it in going all the way down here, and all the way down here. Curse you, Twitch delay! Yes. Going down here, going all the way down here, and then we'd have to make it go all the way through here, and then we'd have to put in another ravine here for the river to go through, and then we'd probably make it join up to this dried out riverbed. And I really like the way this looks as is, so I can't put a river in here. Because the lore of this place is that there used to be a river going down here, but that a dam was put up, sort of up this way, which we'll actually get to putting in when we actually put the route up that far, which diverted the river. Yeah. So I'm not going to put in a river there at the moment. And it's a valley, so it would make sense. But it would take a lot of work. Maybe a pond instead. Yeah, the thing is that with the lake being here, the water would probably gather in the lake more, which is why the lake is here. I mean, I could have a pond over here somewhere. Actually, yes, I'll put that in. Yeah, still always thinking of Doctor Who whenever the word pond gets mentioned. Interesting how that works. Okay, so sort of like that. And I can reuse the textures from HorrorPoint Sightings. Let's see, so maybe just about like that. Maybe a bit more of an interesting sort of shape. Wow, the attention you put into everything is amazing. Not many people would worry about the lore in a train route building game. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, but to be honest with you, with me it kind of happens automatically. I start thinking about the lore of things. Maybe it's got to do with my experience as a game master and or as a GM, which kind of makes me think about those kind of things always. What connection does Doctor Who have with puns? Well, the two companions of the 11th Doctor, so Matt Smith, after they got married, their last names were Pond, so Amy and Rory Pond. And yeah, and that word pond has quite a significant meaning there as well in some episodes. I don't really want to get into discussing that because I don't know how many of the viewers who are watching this live are fans of Doctor Who. But if you are, then I'd be happy to discuss that. Yeah. Alright. So let's go in here. Put that in there. Those dark patches kind of look like massive footprints. Also, we tend to call them DMs in D&D. Yes, DM for Dungeon Master, GM for Game Master. Systems call them different things. Yeah, I prefer Game Master because it's not that, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have that big of, it doesn't imply the type of game the type of play as much, because with Dungeon Master you think, oh, there's going to be a dungeon, like a dungeon crawl, and we're going to fight monsters and that sort of thing. But with Game Master, it feels a lot more open, like this can be anything, about anything. Alright, Pond Doctors sound like a TV show. We're alright. I'm honestly a tester for people. My PC is the most powerful from the entire team, hence why I take care of the biggest part of Central Europe, and I'm the person who will be merging the routes. Imagine Star Master in Star Trek, SMs. Yes. Right, as for most powerful PC. Yes. Yeah, that is an interesting point. So, my whole setup is like 5,000 euros. Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah. I was going to say something about that. Right. With playtesting. So, if you've got the most powerful PC, the most powerful setup, then would that logically mean that when you finished an area, you give it to other members of the team for them to see how well their PCs handle it? Because if you just build on your machine, it's the most powerful one, then you might not know if it's not that, if it works that well on other more less good machines. Oh, I never actually painted the forest underneath that. Yep, I do send the route for regular testing to others. Why that face, Mr. W? I'm not sure what you mean to say by that. Right. Okay, so we've almost put in the grass in this area. Just need to put it in closer to the tracks. And then we'll actually start to add some more baseboards, which is going to be exciting. Okay. I was looking for a money sign, couldn't find one. Tried to find one of disbelief. First one I came to. Ah, I see. Anyways, how are you guys doing tonight? I'm doing fine. I am a bit tired, to be honest. And part of that might be because of your stream, Slovak. But other than that, I'm good. How are you doing? Actually, I'm talking to the camera. So, how are you doing? Yes, I'm doing fine as well. Great. It's so hot where I am. Oh, really? I'm quite close to where you are, and here it's quite pleasant, to be honest with you. I mean, if we lived in America, then you could just turn on the AC, but in the UK, most houses don't really have AC. And by that I mean air conditioning, not alternating current. Although technically, that's a good point. Because air conditioning, so AC, air conditioning, does alternate the currents in the fluid that is the atmosphere. So, is it technically true to call air conditioning AC, meaning alternating current? Or would you have to say AC then? My room gets overheated because of the weather here. So bad, in fact, that I sleep in living room. I do have AC, but I do have a fan, but my small room overheats no matter what. And the PC isn't running that hot either. Yeah. Or maybe it is running that hot and that's the problem. No idea what's happened then. It was quite stuffy and very cloudy, but still hot. Yeah, I mean, where we aren't near any volcanoes either, so that's not the solution. Right. Okay, so my PC is running 45 degrees when playing Trainz, but is room temperature when I go off to bed. I see. Right. I'm assuming you mean 45 degrees. Well, I'm not sure. Do you mean 45 degrees Celsius? Isn't that annoying that lockdown started just when the weather picked up where we are, Sharadise? Yes, it is. If you 45 Celsius, yes. Yes, it is. If you let that stop you. Right. Yeah, especially since usually most flu-like illnesses fade a lot more quickly when you're out in the fresh air and the sun's shining on you and you're happy, you can feel the summer and the life in the air and that sort of thing. Yeah, colds and flu vanishes much more quickly that way. So yes, that was quite some timing there. Right. I've just realized I'm placing grass down there where the player's probably not going to see it. Right. I kind of got distracted. Right. Yeah, I'm just quickly going to place some more over here by the tree line. Let's see. And I promise that the thing with the baseboards isn't going to be the thing with the town, with the buildings, and that I am actually going to start it soon. Because Slovak and let's see who else is watching. Anybody else who's watching. So Swedar. There was a thing when I had planned the town over there that dragged on for quite a few streams of me saying, okay, we'll get to placing some buildings, but then I got distracted by things and didn't actually place some buildings. Oh dear, I haven't got out much during COVID. Yeah. Well, it's really, really nice. And the thing is that the days are getting shorter again. So I would suggest that you take advantage of the situation while the weather is still nice and it's still really warm. If you want to do that. Right. So, let's see. How does this look? Okay, well, yeah, we need to break up this pattern a bit more. It's just so clear cut down there, like that. That looks good, I think. Yeah, we need to put a bit more there. I cycle daily, around 10 kilometers a day, just to get that bit of exercise. Oh, well, that's nice. That's nice then. Yeah. Do you cycle on flat ground or do you cycle up and down hills? Because I think that makes quite a bit of difference. To be honest, I didn't go out much before it. Not by choice. Oh, I see. Or rather, I don't see. Okay. So I'll just quickly place this down. And I walked somewhere every day, but it's only because I need to get to places. Oh, I see what you mean. So you go out to get to places, not for the sake of getting out. I see. Okay, and I do realize that we've only got half an hour left in this stream already. I know it seems like we've just started, but yes, we're here. So I do realize that soon it's going to be now or never with placing new baseboards. Well, I guess technically now or next stream. So I will just quickly finish placing the grass in the forest over here, and then I'll get to it. And even if I notice something else that really needs doing, I'll put it off to the next stream. I know, big shock. My city is the beginning of a mountain range. It is quite hilly here. I even recreated the city in Central Europe. Alright, is that oh, what's it called? I think you mentioned that on stream that was the city you recreated, but I think I've forgotten the name of it. Nitra, that's the city. Ah, right. I think, yeah, I saw that. I think I saw that on the map when I was driving. Exactly. My brain isn't wired in a way that I can walk just for the sake of it. I just don't enjoy it. It's like working out. Well, it depends on where you walk. For me, at least. Because if you're just walking around the town, then yes. But if you're walking around the coast, for example, because I happen to know that you live by the coast, so if you, for example, went to Churston Woods and then maybe took the bus back or something like that, it is really nice, also really, really relaxing, because that sort of thing, taking walks in nature, kind of almost makes you forget a lot of this the stress that's going on, because in that moment you're there and you can feel the rhythm of your feet and your breathing, your heartbeat, as you smell the fresh air and hear birds chirping, that sort of thing. It just makes it feel like the world is whole in a way. I think you should give it a try. Like properly in nature, like in forest or by the preferably for me, I enjoy forests a lot. Yeah. Okay, right. Anime spots. Thanks for being vague on the details. Vague on the details. Was that sarcastic or genuine? Because I'm not sure what that emoticon is supposed to represent in this case, and it's kind of a bit difficult to tell sometimes with only text. My guess would be sarcastic. Alright, that's it. Won't put down any more grass at the moment. I know... Yes. That face. Right. I have no idea what that face means in this case. Honestly, I have no clue. Well, I shouldn't say honestly because... Swidar, damn it. Right. So, now here's a choice. And I'm actually going to do a vote. And for this, in this case, just typing 1 or 2 in chat will do fine. And if there's a tie, I'll break it. So, option number 1 is we continue building along here, so this ravine, this gorge, and make the track going up here further. So this will get quite narrow, and we're going to go over to a gravel mine, or a gravel quarry or something like that. And this is only the branch line. It won't go up that far. Or we could continue going along this way, so continuing along the main valley, which will also become a lot tighter and with a lot more cliffs, and we will actually have a going up here, which is where we will eventually get up to the dam. I wasn't meant to be sarcastic. You know I don't do social media. I see. I am with Swidar on voice channel. He is having a lot of fun. Oh, I see. I'm with Eagle. He is laughing as well along. I'm kind of a bit sorry that I'm missing out on the fun then. Right, so option 1 going this way. So type a 1 in chat for that. Or option 2 going this way. Snitch. Okay, so we've got one vote for 1. Another vote for 1. Oh, well, it's unanimous then. 1 it is, going up this way. To be honest, that's the one I would have picked too if I had to break a tie. Okay, so, and I am actually going to need to make this 3 baseboards wide. I'll just put it like 3 long as well, so 9 baseboards in total. Then I need to update them to use the 5 meter grid size, and I do actually do that. I always put them down in 10 meters and then in 1 meters as well, update them after that, because I ran into a bug in Trainz once, and I actually did already mention this in a previous stream, one of the first ones. 1-1, yes, I would go this way as well, since it is a branch line and you want to make it short and in a quarry. Yes. Yeah. Basically, in Trainz A New Era, I was making a route, and I was using the 5 meter grid size. I added some baseboards, and then I saved, and it just got stuck on saving. It didn't load. So then when I quit Trainz, when it eventually did finish, I quit Trainz, and then whenever I wanted to load the session, it used to take about 15 minutes or maybe up to 20 minutes to load, and then when it did load, all the terrain was gone. It was just the objects on it, but the terrain was transparent basically. So then I got into support with Trainz support. Yes, I got in contact with Trainz support, and what they suggested is that I should load the route and then update them to 10 meters and then back to 5 meters, which fixed the problem. So since then, I'm always putting them down as 10 meters and then updating them to 5 meters. That's how Royals... What? How Royals rejoice when they win something. 1-1. I see. Baseballs. When you try to hit a ball with a bat whilst on a skateboard. Ah, I see. That's... good. Okay. Okay, let's see. I've always been using 10 meter grid. I'm used to it more, and I can work with it a lot better. Yeah, but the thing is, with a 5 meter grid size, you can put in so much more detail with the terrain and with the textures. For example, with terrain textures. So here I've got the terrain texture of the ballast very close to the tracks and also the gravel underneath the road. If it was 10 meters, then the sort of edge line, the grid would be twice as big, so you couldn't put it in that close. And the same with the terrain here. So for example, in this bit where the road goes over the tracks, I've got the terrain going right up to here. So if I switch over to this mode, you can see it better. You can see I've got the terrain going right up to here. That's why ever since 5 meter grid size was introduced, and I actually learned about it, I've always been using that instead. That would be so fun to watch. You mean baseball and basketball and skateboarding mixed together? Yeah, the 5 meter grid is a blessing, but it doubles the size of the route basically. Yes, it does. Yeah, so it does make it quite a bit laggier when you're doing terrain things. For example, here when I'm pasting this to get the height of the route up in these baseboards, it does make it a bit laggier. But, and also with painting, but I think it's worth it for me. Hence why we are making central loop in 10 meter to keep it as small as possible, because of how much we want there. Oh, so you mean as in the actual file size? Because it does actually increase that as well for obvious reasons, but is that the reason you meant? File size of the route. not basketball, but baseball and skateboards combined. Ah, right. Oh, right, because right. I thought basketball because of ball and bat were separate. I thought it were three things, but yeah, basketball, baseball and skateboards combined. I can see how that might be enjoyable to watch. Although I personally am not that into sports. Okay. So how are you enjoying the exciting new baseboards, the extension of the route? Is it everything you had wished it to be? I am putting, the reason why I'm putting this up all at the moment now is because it's easier to work with a track, with a gradient, if it's not that far above the terrain. And also, it's easier for that, and also for the mountains, if you have a base height to work with. And I'm not going to put it all the way up to the edge of that, because that would then cut into that, and I want more space on this side. Does skating count as a sport? My favorite part of the route building is the creation and shaping of the land. Oh, I see. Well, then you're in luck, because there's going to be a whole lot of that coming up. Skateboarding, I meant. Yes, I thought you meant skateboarding. I don't know. Is skateboarding in the Olympics? Because if it is, then it's probably a sport. I mean, I guess it might depend on what you use it for. If you're doing trick, stunts on it, or racing or things like that, then it's probably a sport. I mean, you've even got sports cars, where you're not really doing any physical activity. Skateboarding is not in the Olympics. Ah, well, thanks for putting that in there. Yeah, but ice skating is. I see. Yeah. So do you think, yeah. I think that the difference between sports and non-sports can sometimes be a bit blurred. Just because it's not in the Olympics doesn't mean it's not a sport. Yes, that's true. Exactly. Also, Slovak, one thing I meant to ask, the one baseboard challenge route, you said that you were going to upload, or that you're going to test to see if it's uploaded. What is that going to be called? Because I'll want to check that out when it's on the DLS. Is this one? Yeah, this one. Eagleville Railway. We can actually do a little screenshot of that, because I don't want to lose it. Sorry, just a little bit of water. The only skate competitions are non-official, so it's probably not classed as a sport. Yeah, well, we all know that the real definition of whether something's a sport or not is whether, well, I was going to say something serious, but the thing is, there's a joke there that can be made, but I won't make it at the moment. It was something to do with the Greeks, but the actual serious answer might actually be whether you can have, actually no, that wouldn't make sense. Alright, well, don't at me. I was going to say something about fan bases, but OMFG, yes, N3 fixed my issue with DLS. I can now upload my multiplayer session for Sabino Lake. Yes, I'm so happy. Oh yes, Eagleville Railway, where you can find the lesser spotted Slovakian eagle. Yes, I am so glad that you're that excited. That makes me happy. Right. Also, Slovak, do you or Swidar Gaming too, if you've got a solution, an answer. I know that there is a multiplayer. Actually, 1 second. I need to figure out what the gradient is here. 1%. Okay, this needs to be higher. Let's go about 2.5%. I know that there's a multiplayer server on your Discord. Well, chat on your Discord. Yes, multiplayer. Yes, on the Discord. But how does that work? Like, are multiplayer sessions organized in advance? So, like, are there specific times, or do you just get together? Like, someone types in, "Hey, is anyone up for a multiplayer game?" And then if people are there and have time, they join, or if they want to. Is it like organized, or yes, Trainz multiplayer? Because if you didn't know, Mr. W, Trainz actually does have multiplayer, so you can drive around on the route multiplayer, which is a lot of fun, but there's not a large multiplayer community at the moment. So I guess my question is the multiplayer thing more organized? Oh, we used to announce them in advance, but now we just do it randomly. I see. Alright, thanks for answering that. Okay, so I do want to make this kind of go along this canyon. Let's see, how is that? It is quite steep, but the thing is, only empties will go up here, well, mostly. So I think I might as well put it up to maybe 2.9% going up here. So we could have like a really steep bit. And we might also have to put down the speed limit here as well. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. What's the goal of it? Just to drive around? It honestly looked like this one baseboard route will explode, so I might revive the multiplayer a bit. Well, if you do, I would really also be interested in joining some of those multiplayer games, if I've got time when they're on. Okay, so let's see. This little bit is a bit too flat here. Oh right, that's because this is flattened. I see. Maybe just keep the curve going like this a bit. Because I don't usually like to put too many bits of track alongside that aren't flattened, because then the curves get kind of wonky. But if this is going up this canyon, then it might be good. I got a lot of positive attention for it, so it might be really good. But I'm not sure about Mac PC crossplay. Oh, I see. That might be an issue. Might be worth testing that then sometimes. The thing is, I've only got access to Trainz on Mac, so I can't test it myself. Maybe we can do a quick test sometime, just to see if it does work. Okay, so that's over here. Yeah, we definitely have to test it. Alright, so this, I'm thinking we might have a really, really steep bit right at the end and then have it flatten out. So maybe 3.5 degrees, well, percent. Going up here, just a really short little steep bit, and then going back down to 2.5 for this bit. And actually, which way do I want this to curve? Let's see. It's going this way. Actually, I think I want it to curve back. Oh, well, let's see. The wall is going to be on this side. So I think I'm going to make it curve over to the left. So kind of over there. That going over to 1.5. I'm free almost I'm free most of the day and always free in the evening. So just let me know when you will want to try and we can. Great, yes. Am I on a delay? To me, Slovak typed, we have to test it. Before Sheridice asked the question, I'm referring to the page. Give me a mo. Yes, you might... it might help if you reload the page, because I do notice that sometimes Twitch, the delay gets a lot longer if you don't reload the page, but if you do reload the page, then yeah, that sometimes helps. Lol, yes. Back. Switch source. Yeah, Twitch delay is a funny thing. Yes, some might even say it is a Twitch-worthy, hilarious thing. Right. So I think that this is kind of good as a thing where here we could... Well, actually, I'm going to put a little bit more of a curve in here. Haha, yes. Thanks. So I think that this is a good point where you could maybe have it branch open. I think, what do you think? Do you think this is long enough as a branch to... Don't lull me, dog. Right, so do you think that this is long enough for a branch to go up to the gravel quarry? So kind of going from here, going up along there, going up all the way up to here. Because for the most of this, the speed limit will be quite low. Actually, I can measure it. Because actually this is a trick which you might not know about, is if you want to measure a route's length, if you put in a if you make a straight piece of track and you use the ruler to measure it, and you make it exactly 1 kilometer long or 1 mile long, depending on your unit thing, then you can make a consist that's exactly that long. And then if you place that consist down, then you can actually use it to measure a route's length with that. I use that for mileposts and things like that, because it can be tricky to do with going around curves if you're only using rulers. So if I place this train down, which is exactly 1 mile long, then I know that 1 mile goes to here, and let's see, if that's 1 mile, then I think it's probably about 1.5 miles. So do you think that's long enough? You said it was a gravel mine. Why would the track go up for a mine? Well, maybe a pit, more gravel pit. Well, that's where it's located. Maybe it's a very specific kind. Maybe because the quality of gravel actually does change a lot based on the rock around it, which does mean that the quality of concrete, which is mostly what it's used for, does vary based on based on the quality of the ground. So that could be the reason why. The shadow of the track looks really intimidating. I'd say that what? Actually, the track doesn't have a shadow. That's long enough. Oh, right. What do you think, Swidar and Slovak? Do you think it's long enough? Because I'm kind of on the edge. I'm not really sure. Sorry. You cannot have stone quarry anywhere. Here the stone is digged in my city, but transported out because of that type of gravel system. Yes, indeed. I'm not used to the enter key sending the message. Yes, I had the same issue when I first started. I could have sworn that the track had a shadow just now. Where? There is no shadow? Because for me, shadows don't work at the moment. Well, some of them don't work. I think it's long enough. Alright. Yeah, because, for example, the trees don't have shadows. The bridge does have a shadow. Houses have shadows. It's just a mess at the moment. But yeah, okay, well then that's long enough then. Right, so just quickly fill in this little gap here. On the ground, if you rewatch the stream when it's archived, yes, I will have a look at it. And if there is a shadow, then there's something strange going on. I mean, there's always something strange going on with Trainz, but something even more strange than usual. Yes, I will rewatch it. Right. So, I think quarantine is getting to me. Yeah, I mean, it's getting to all of us. I mean, humans are a social animal. When you cut everything off, everything breaks down. And, yeah. Anyway, I don't really want to get on that subject at the moment again. Because there's already, yeah. Speaking of not getting into that subject, yeah. Alright, so let's see. How do I want to do this? Let's see. Okay, so I'll bring this out a bit, and then I'll worry about the transition later. It's just so much more. It's just one more thing to be careful of if you're doing it straight away. And this is where zooming out would be so useful, because if you look here, I zoom out a little bit more, then the camera starts to tilt, and then I zoom out and it goes to the map. If only they just put that a little bit further back, would be so useful, but they haven't done that. If only there was a mod. If you only could mod Trainz to do that. Oh no, 5 minutes left. Oh, yes, I know, it feels... Yes, I know, sad faces. Mine too. I know, I mean, if it was only up to me, I'd keep going for many more hours, but it's not because of the setup at the moment, because there are other people, other family members in this space at the moment. So yes, unfortunately I do have to end the stream at that time. But I'm touched that it causes you such emotion that the stream is ending. F in chat. No. 3 minutes. This was really fun stream though. I love this. Not gonna lie, you're the first streamer who I actually enjoy watching. Oh, that is really touching. Thanks a lot for saying that. Sad face F. Yeah, I wish that it would change I wish that it would change something, that I could say, well, if it's that important, I'll just go another hour, but I can't. Oh, another F. Yeah. Okay. But you can already kind of start to see how this area is going to shape up. And maybe next stream we'll actually take a locomotive up this way, which will be nice. Because I haven't actually done that in a while. I agree, Slovak. It's really great to watch. Oh, thanks a lot. I really do appreciate that. Agreed. Yeah. I will stream Trainz tomorrow. Some session or route building. We'll see yet. Yes, I'll join in for that then. Okay. Because I do actually also really enjoy your streams, like I said before. We love you, Sharadice. Oh, that's sweet of you. Alright. Oh, yes, exactly. Also, this won't be as flat here, because the mountain will be higher up here. Something like this kind of. And I mean, I would stream longer if I could transfer my setup, but I've got probably about 24 cables connected to, oops, didn't mean to do that, connected to my Mac. That's all wired up here, and yeah, I can't move it. But yeah, so this is going to go up much higher over here. Basically, it's going to go, I might have a peak going up this way, so you won't see the border on this side. But yeah, that's what it will look like then. And also, we will have a river coming down here, so I have put in a little test thing down here. And yes, that's it. I think that that's probably a good enough place for a thumbnail or something like that. So, over to OBS and to the ready screen. And yes, that is the stream. I'm really happy that you've all enjoyed it that much. So have I. And that looks amazing. Thank you all for watching. Paradise, remember to follow. Yes, indeed. Follow. And if you're watching this archived on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Yes. But no, seriously, it really doesn't matter to me that much. Looks great. Remember to get a thumbnail. Way ahead of you, Slovak. Hi, YouTube. Yes, hello, because this is archived. Right. So that's it then for today. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye until Monday then. Yes, so bye.